I got something else here.
Me too.
Okay, so Diddy puts a throwback pic of him and JLO up on his
Oh, the
IG.
chain reaction, and then 50 Cent and Vivica, and then fucking who the other person was with Ben and Jen.
Well, that's the thing. Like, she broke up with her guy, right? A-Rod.
Yeah.
And fucking, there was I guess a picture of her and homie Ben Affleck together.
From before, but then they're actually an item now again.
Is that for real? Because, that might just be speculation. What I want to know is Diddy in violation now posting, and I'll show you the picture here. It's like an old school pic, you know what I mean? With the Sean John, the baggy Sean John suit.
You know what? It's people in their feelings, because usually when you see somebody who's with a new person, it's not like she's talking to Ben from yesterday. It's from the last month.
Right.
So when he posts this, he's saying, yo, nigga, don't get it twisted. Like, I kind of had that first. Because even at the time when she was shooting, what's that song again? Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. Jenny from the Block. I'm just Jenny from the Block. When she did that video and she was with Ben Affleck, it's like those are the times when she was just kind of with Diddy. So it's like there's a lot of these things with exes, again, boundaries. He's been with many women, even Cassie, right? So you have to look at the relationships he's had. And Lori Harvey. He's had a lot of like high profile, like gorgeous women in his corner many times over the years. But there's the attachment piece, I'm telling you. It's not like he's throwing up his ex, Lori Harvey. He is throwing up JLO. JLO has just left A-Rod. JLO in her 50s is still looking like fire to some people and is still dating somebody she went back with. So she's doing a throwback relationship and they're throwing up throwback pics.
So why do you think he's doing that?
I think it's an attention thing. It's like, don't forget. But he's also sending a message to Ben. Nigga, I had this first still. Right? And she was, like, when they say, like, once you go black, you don't go back type of thing. Well, so he's trying to.
That's not facts, because she went all over the map after she went black, especially when the club gets shot up when she with the black guy, right?
Yeah. And then it's like, this is metaphorical. A lot of people post certain pictures and it's like she's holding his hand. It's not like they were just talking or they were at a business meeting or anything like that. It's very specific. The symbolism is real once you start to kind of critique it. Yeah. And you look at friggin' 50 Cent and Vivica A. Fox. Like, yeah, they had like a thing at one point, but people are like, yo, it's been like 20 years. Like, get the fuck over it. Like, where have you been all this time? Because everybody's starting to throw up their throwback celebrity love crush pics. So then now it's like then the chain reaction as well.
There's a reason for the 50 Cent. It's because recently there's clips that have been posting of Vlad's interview with her. So she's talking about
she loved 50 and
there's like a few clips that he asked her about 50 and she don't seem to be over him.
Yeah, 50's,
they've done each other dirty. 50 more. Like, he said some wild shit about her in interviews and on songs, and she's still like, I love 50.
She's older than him, and like he brought a little bit of spunk, and he was the number one guy out at the time. So it's like it was necessary for her to feel a real connection because like he selected her type of thing. She was looked at as kind of like a cougar a little bit, but at the same time, she's older than him.
No, but at the time she was in like cougar status at that time, was
Not
she?
Cougar status, but it was like a young rapper dating an older, successful, black, beautiful actress. Not a rapper, actress.
Listen, even Vivica, if I can get like a third option on that, to spin back to your question from before or the voices question.
Mm-hmm. On the island?
On the island, yeah. I'll put Vivica as a third string, you know what I'm saying?
As the on-call.
Yeah, from that interview, like she did look like she had hella plastic surgery, but Vivica Fox is a beautiful woman.
Gorgeous. I used to love having like my hair color like her because she has that like honey blonde type of thing that she did a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. She was a great actress, So, I have a statement here. I saw it on somebody's Instagram story today. And I think it's like, it sums up a lot of like how I felt many times. And I think a lot of women can relate to it too. You can't date a man and raise him at the same time.
Well, to me, that's obvious. Like, I feel like I've ranted this a few times in the last few months where a lot of y'all like trash niggas.
Or a lot of women that are very nurturing end up attracting certain types of men that haven't fully developed from their mothers, because mothers, in my opinion, we're so busy trying to chase wastemans generationally that the generation continues, and a lot of men are missing a lot of that developmental piece of maturity and masculinity. So the cycle just kind of keeps recycling itself.
Yeah, it's partially, we could like take our own accountability for the bullshit. Like the trash men. I don't say we, they. But
it's not trash, it's incompetent. You can't help that if you're just incompetent.
Or like the mama's boys, or the guys who haven't grown up type of
or
thing.
Or the husband sons. I've heard about that one too.
Son?
Fuck yeah.
But there's a lot of broken homes that are in the hoods and like black communities and stuff more specifically, right? So, I know everybody has to take accountability for, their own fuck ups and shit like that. But a lot of those come from the fact that there was not a lot of fathers to help raise some of these guys.
But were these fathers competent to begin with? Were these fathers competent to begin with? Because a lot of the time, a lot of the men, the cycle continues. They're lacking a lot of that emotional energy, and there's a lot of displacement in how they feel about things. They're just with a lot of the women from back in the day too, just because they needed to be that together household, or they needed to be the provider of some sort, or they didn't have anywhere else to go. Most men aren't necessarily always living somewhere, right? Stable.
Yeah.
So,
we do. A lot of stuff is passed down generationally, right? Because even me myself over the years, like I've been, I used to be a cheater, you know what I'm saying? And, a guy that dealt with multiple women at the same time. But
you dog.
Before. But I found out when, I started to get to know my pops a little bit more in the short space of time, right? And RIP to him. But when I did get to know a little bit more about him, I found out like he had like, I don't know, like 3-4 wives.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my youngest brother is like probably just now 30 something years old. And like, I'm like, damn, bro, you were putting in work all the way to like
that's a lot of
60s, my G. Like, holy, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, a light bulb went off like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And I never met the man, you know what I'm saying? And like, he's, was an alcoholic and stuff like that. And I'm 10 years sober type of guy, and actually 11 years sober, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize that I picked up all these things from a man I never met.
Genetic code, man. Mm-hmm. That's serious. And men don't realize they'll also inhibit a lot of the negative stuff too. It's very few rare things where it's positive traits. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, so yeah, you might have something to that whole... the generations of fuckboyism and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I was moving on some real fuckboy shit back then.
It is what it is. Yeah.